Oh my goodness. We are live. You got me laughing already. We are live. Welcome to Black Box Radio. We are in the box. I mean, it's a beautiful, cool day in Baltimore. Cool, hot day. And it's a more beautiful day for that DHC, for that digital healing circle. That's where we at. So, this is Doc in the Box. You don't know what that is. This is our third iteration of this joint. So we've done it. This is the third time, Dr. Doc.
Okay. You
We
make me
fine
happy.
tuning it. We fine tuning it. Fine tuning it. So
We
we,
fine.
huh?
We fine tuning it.
Yeah, we fine tuning it. So the
The big
digital
word.
healing circle is a space on YouTube that we're going to do monthly that
Uh-huh.
promotes healing. It's talking about things that apply to the community, apply to your environment, and we just want to drop some jewels and gems and make people think and talk about what our own shared experiences in America, right?
Our own shared experiences.
Yeah, we share some of these experiences. You
Uh,
black, ain't you? Don't we share being black?
if that's the identity, yes. I mean, I would assume yes. Some people identify as black and some don't, but that's something to talk about even.
Okay, well that's true because a lot of people don't like certain. We got all these things we call ourselves. Unfortunately, you
So
know.
even that, there's some shared experience. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
I identify. How people say I. The new how we say it now is I self-identify.
Yeah. Oh,
I self-identify as black.
I
African.
saw. A lot of people. Yeah, they self-identify when they want to. When it's good. They like the rhythm, but they ain't like the blues. That's what they say, bro. So
Yeah.
I'm Queen. I'm a host at Black Box Radio. We are a multimedia platform illustrating Black excellence. We platform Black genius. We expose Black stories. We authentically introduce Black titles, Black people, Black authors. And today we have the Black psychosocial clinician.
Okay.
That's what
All
we
right.
have tonight. He's the leader of the DHC guys. He's the leader of the circle. So, Dr. Dar, say hi to the people.
We're co-leaders, by the way, family. People don't know how to share their responsibilities sometimes. What they do is they say that this is patriarchy, right? And let me just tell you my experience with black beautiful women. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my
They,
God.
they, they typically say, oh, well, the black brothers are being patriarchal, and why are the brothers always at top? And this is just my own experience. To be honest, just to be honest, every time I work with one of these beautiful black queens, they always try to throw it back and make me the quote unquote leader. And I'm like, no, we're doing this together. It ain't look the hierarchical thing. We say we break in this oppressive system and all the hierarchical structures and all these type of things, but then they want to say, oh, he's the leader. No, we are co-leading, we are co-facilitating, and we are rolling together.
I love how you put all of that just to say that we rolling hard together. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Mhm.
But our intentional movement is to involve the community. So that's what this is the co-host is actually the audience. So I want you guys to jump in the chat. Don't hold back. Come at us. Tell us what you want to talk about. But the baseline of the conversation is white oppression, black trauma. How does that affect our everyday movement? So, Dr. Da, I want to expound. You said something about a week or two ago, and I told you I was coming for you because you
Oh yeah.
started. Oh yeah. I told you that you are very bold. Um, you are audacious. You are treading in territory that I'm not sure you're ready for. You in them 420 streets, and I
Mm.
done told you about them 420 streets, bro. We
Oh
take
yeah.
Yeah, people take the 420 streets very seriously.
They do.
Real talk.
I'm learning this term. I'm learning this term 420.
Yeah, we take it seriously. But on top of that, the country is taken seriously because everywhere, structures, when everything was closed in the pandemic, guess what was open?
the weed
The
dispensary.
legal weed house. The legal weed house was still open.
Okay. All right.
So
I think
we talking about something that that medicinal thing. It's like the hospital now. It never closes. So not only do people take it seriously, municipalities are taken seriously. Federal government is taken seriously because they are making money off of it. But you had the nerve, like I said, you had the nerve to talk about racism and put some 420 on it. So can we talk about that a little?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, help me understand how I put that. Well, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, because you said that people don't take care of themselves. They won't even. Well, no, we are so highfalutin, I would say, that we got to have all of this unbelievable weed. But really,
I'm gonna tell you what I said. I'm gonna read
Reggie
it.
is the weed.
I was looking it up when you brought it up. I know I'm looking this way because I'm multitasking. I have another thing here, that I'm paying attention to the screen. So let me pull over here. Well, so it says, so my post family. You can read it.
Yeah,
Sister
read your
Vegas,
post.
she's now saying I said things I didn't say.
Read the post. You read it.
It
Read
says
it to
you.
people.
So this is how I said. I've said it like this. My meme, you be talking about you want everything organic until it is time to choose your weed. Let me say it one more again, or one more again. You
Come
be
on.
talking about you want everything organic until it is time to choose your weed. And then my caption says, I don't do this often, but I had to. The great paradoxes in our minds. You be like, give me that genetically modified stuff. Not that Reggie, it don't do nothing. Let me say it again. You be like, give me that genetically modified stuff. Not that Reggie, it don't do nothing. Yes, this is a social intervention confronting discrepancy. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
So
so
you
why
keep
would
talking
you?
about, don't give me that Reggie, that old Bob Marley old weed. Give me that, that skunk.
You
Give me
know
that
they got
la 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 la
they got
la.
sexy names now, bro.
I,
They got
I
they got
can't keep
sexy
up with it.
names now.
It used
You
to be
know,
purple. It was Dro. It was all these other stuff. I
yeah,
can't
that
keep up with
chocolate tie, that Kush.
it. Yeah.
So, but I don't think the people are thinking about it in that way. And how because I think that's a social engineering. You know what I'm saying? Like where you social engineer that what you're used to is less than what is modified by per se governments or whoever this, because it's a payoff to have the modified version. And
Mm-hmm.
it's probably something in there to make it seem like it got more pop than a natural version.
What?
Pop,
It
more
ain't no,
high,
it ain't
more
no
chill.
scheming. You know why your people's why y'all's chasing it. It's more pop. You can smell it.
It's
You
that pop in there, Joe.
The
It's
pop
that
is
pop
so
in there.
strong. The pop is so strong that I recall the first time I have a cousin, and he told me about this dro, and he had the dro in a little tube. It was a tube, like a test tube. I don't know what it's called. One of those little valve, whatever you said,
A
valves.
vial.
Oh, thank you. So it had three-dimensional weed. I never seen three-dimensional weed until he showed me this dro, and it was bubbly. And y'all know y'all want the bubbly sticky, and you can stick even though it was still in this was a vial, you could smell it in his pocket. He didn't light it, but you can smell it. Now you can smell who sells weed when you walk down the block.
That's the truth.
He ain't smoked the weed. The weed is in his pocket or her pocket. Is in the pocket. You already know who the weed man is because he the unburnt smell of it in his pocket.
Yeah, because it's a skunk.
Oh.
So you're saying that that's not particularly when it comes to that, we're not worried about organic, okay? We're worried about getting high.
No, y'all not worried about. Y'all want the highest THC content possible.
I need you to stop saying y'all because I think you're attributed to. I need you to stop. I need you to stop. You keep saying y'all as if.
Oh, I thought you said we. You said we, so I said yo. And then, and, I mean, I could be wrong. But
I don't remember saying we.
did
I
you
don't
say
remember.
we? Okay. I mean, when I say y'all, we, you know, it's
Okay,
Ubuntu.
because organic, but that's like I said, that's social engineering, and it's the pop. What they put in to make you want
Mhm.
that type of weed. But I think that now we're going to break that down to then people just don't know what they want. They're not worried about themselves, the organic nature of what weed is, just because the other one smells better. It might
Smells
pop
better.
you, get you higher better. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, smells better. It does more than smell better. The smell is one thing. You know, if you could, I think if you could get weed that didn't smell, but you can still get that feeling and the quote unquote taste that people like. I mean, I did a little research. I never smoked weed before, but what I'm
Okay.
saying is I don't know nothing about the taste. I don't know nothing about the feel. I don't know none of that. But what I am
Okay.
saying is, even in the mental health field, if I really had to keep it 100, even if you people are out here suggesting pushing this medicated weed, I mean, weed as medication, and I'm not saying it can't be medication, but what I am saying there's quite a difference between medication and getting high, and that is also when it comes to weed. And I think when we're out here pushing it, even psychotherapists, because some of us couldn't wait until weed became legalized, act like now we're just doing all this stuff because we want to do it because it helps you with your PTSD and your OCD and your PTSS and all this stuff. But no, you're not doing it because of that. You're doing it because you want to get high. Now, if you're being honest, if you're being honest, then I'm not talking about you, Queen. I talk to the people. You understand?
No
If
problem.
you're being honest with yourself, you know that you want to get high, and that just be honest. There's difference. Look, because even in medication, when you get medication from your prescriber, the prescriber gives you a certain amount of milligrams, and those certain amount of milligrams is to keep you regulated or keep you in some level of state or what have you. No, you will go to the dispensary and smoke all the weed that same night. So go ahead. I'm sorry, Queen.
Okay, I hear you, but I think you need to stay out of them 420 streets. You got to stay up out of there. don't don't be messing with those folks. Because what you're saying is the both though. You said that it is really so even medicinally when it's being given to folks, it's because they want to get high. But it's both.
But
Getting high is the place where you don't feel where you get numb, where the pain goes down. So getting high, that's the reason to smoke. The reason isn't to smoke just because it's weed. It's the reason so you can dull the pain or dull the ache or dull the sounds in your head. That's what the medicinal part is. So to
no,
say what you mean no?
mm-mm. If
Well,
you
what is
talk
it?
when you talk to these experts, they will tell you that these weed advocates and experts, they will tell you it's about using it as medicine, and they have classes even to tell people the difference between getting high and using it as medicine, and that you don't use it where you get to the level of you're getting to that certain level high. There's a difference. You can drink a little alcohol and it might calm you, but there's a certain threshold where you get to a point where you actually are tipsy and
Drunk.
even drunk. So
Yeah.
if you smoke, we don't want to smoke little joints no more. We want to smoke blunts and all of that. Look, we health experts. We don't do tobacco, but we smoke our weed in all types of tobacco wrappings. So what I'm saying, and then we're the same people that talk about Dr. Sabi.
I
You
was
know, we're the
thinking
same,
you.
we're the same people that talk about Dr. Sabi and Layla Africa and organic food and food deserts, and we talk about all these different things, but we out there, yo. Let me get a chocolate such and such. Let me get a this and that. got the locks. We just went to the organic market. We just went down and got some food from Land of Kush. You know, we doing good out here. But we're going to go and get me I can't even think about backwood. Look, if you go in the gas station and see how this society, and I think we have to be careful because we think we getting something. But I'm telling you, from my estimation, weed is going to be the next problem. I'm telling you, I'm talking about crack. When I was talking about crack, and it may not look the same, but alcohol is a problem in our community, and they legalize it. So people it's going to be a problem. And the THC levels are off the charts. And every child is out here smoking weed right now. And every car you drive past, you can smell a skunk coming through your vents. You drive down these streets and you drive 3 miles down the street, and all you smell is the greatest weed, the most the strongest smell. Now when I go to events and I smell the old people weed, it smells good. When I was young, it used to stink. The old people weed just smell like pencil shavings being lit up or something. But it smells like parsley or something. The stuff that smoke now, oh my God.
Listen, what I will say is I think weed is going to be a problem, and it's going to be a problem in the Black community too. I think
absolutely.
I think that this legalization opens the door to a lot of chemical enhancement to weed, a lot of breakdown. I think what's going to happen mentally to brains that can't handle the chemical compositions. We're going to see behaviors that is triggered from this type of ingestion of THC. So I absolutely agree that it will be a problem. I think that the only reasoning to legalize it is the money aspect, and that it's a gift that keeps on giving. So you have people who they'll buy it from you, then the guys go to the hospital and get treated for it. Then it's going to be used, and I think they're going to at some point use it for racism. So you like, oh, you think somebody was racist against you? Okay, let me give you some weed so you can chill.
Well, that's true.
I really think that
there's already studies out now that weed is those who are smoking weed. The younger you are, the more likely you are to experience psychosis. So, and that goes back to what you're saying. And there's also studies even with the psychedelics that the people, like everybody, a lot of people smoking weed to manage their mental health issues, right? As you said, right? But the problem is like it even can exacerbate. Like a lot of people who experience bipolar disorder, they really smoke the weed and it triggers a manic state. Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily work well for them, you know, and yeah, so yeah. So
or
there's development.
It triggers a state of intense need. Like you try it, the feeling that you get, and now you cannot not have it. And so it becomes this absolute addiction because of the composition of it. And it's almost like crack. You never ever get that first feeling. And so you continue to run after that high. So we're going to see behaviors being distributed. But that's why we live in such a crazy society that continues to introduce barriers or introduce things that retards the human from greatness. Yeah. And it's all for money. It's a problem.
Capitalism.
And so, Capitalism. It's the devil, man.
Capitalism doesn't care about you.
It doesn't give a damn.
And we can already tell the way that these weed dispensaries are being opened up that they're not really and they're not really about really helping heal people. I mean, it's like a game. And even I went down to DC the other day. We were down in Adams Morgan, and I mean, it's so many weed shops around there. And even a lot of people I've started to notice from Baltimore region are going to DC more because they can just go and buy it without cards and stuff like that. And you know, I mean, all I'm saying is there is going to be a problem, and lots of our children are smoking this weed, and it's a different weed that you messed around with when you was 15 and 16.
That's
And
true.
the addictive properties are greater.
Yeah.
The dependency is greater. When you see people nodding off, and it's been strong for a while. I'm talking about even my during my lifetime. Maybe the last time, maybe in my early 20s, that's when I started noticing. That's when you start hearing about purple and dro and all this stuff like that. With
Yeah.
mom and pops, nope, they ain't happening no more.
You're right. So that's something we have to be aware as a community, as a Black community, because particularly, listen, we're gonna have this is another thing introduced in our community that our children have to. It's another hurdle that I think, and it's a hurdle that is so embraced that it's regular, just like cigarettes. Like
Mhm.
cigarettes, it's legal and they so but it's such a bad
Cigarettes got a worse rap, actually.
I mean, but everything, alcohol, cigarettes. Now we got weed. They
No,
continue.
I'm saying weed is seen as less than a threat than than a cigarette.
Yeah,
In
that's what I'm
now,
saying.
yeah.
The
So
the
cigarettes is
marketing around weed is that it's accepting, it's cool, it's chill. It's it's even chiller than cigarettes. If you ain't smoking weed, who are you? What you doing there?
because many
That's,
years we've been perpetuating that you can't get addicted. We've been perpetuating that you that is there's no health issues with it. Some people would say that maybe there's not a case of people smoking weed and now going out and killing people or something like that. You
yeah,
know, thing,
you don't see weed smokers killing,
yeah.
but I promise you, this new chemical that they're gonna touch on weed is gonna we're gonna see behaviors we didn't think weed would definitely would come from a weed smoker. I believe that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the person who got high didn't go and didn't go and do a thing, but weed may have not been the cause. Also, although people who have smoked weed, I know many, I know you know some too, that when they smoke weed, they start tripping, and because they start tripping, they can come a little delusional. So that it kind of also depends on your biological makeup,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
But let me get to the point because it's not about me beating up on people who smoke weed. I do want to say that. It is more about us being honest. Um, and some of the things we don't talk about when we talk about weed, we always talk about what is so beneficial about it. I'm not going to say there's no benefits, but I think there's a difference between benefits and being addicted. I also think that when we talk about our children and and also benefits and abuse, and also the way that it shapes informs your neurological patterns in your brain and
yeah,
your ability to cope in society and the way
yeah.
that people who actually look. I've been around. I've been around people smoking weed. I'm just the only one not smoking weed. I mean, I've been around weed for a long time. Like, there ain't no thing. I've been Manny. My nickname is Manny. Yo, you want to hit that, Manny? No, I ain't gonna do that. You can, So what I'm saying is, but when even the earlier you you begin to smoke weed, you really lose your capacity to really regulate your emotions without it. So hence you find people who smoke weed, they kind of act a little antisocial at times, especially if they ain't got no weed in them. And then they also got to get away from other people who don't smoke weed because they got to go and get their weed. So they socialize with people who smoke weed, but they won't socialize with you if you don't smoke weed. So it's these things that kind of happen because you're not. Go ahead, you're smiling and laughing.
How'd you say it? I like what you say. You said if you don't smoke weed, you don't socialize with people who don't smoke weed. I'm just listening to you.
So yeah, these are things that happen. It kind of, if you're not willing to be around them smoking weed, or or what have you. And then if I don't have no weed in me, I'm grumpy. I'm agitated. I don't know what to do. I need to smoke some weed. I can't go to Jamaica because I don't want to. Because well, you can go to Jamaica because
Yeah,
you'll find some weed, but it
yeah,
ain't even good enough. So now I feel out of my mind. I mean, I've had people who come in my office and say, "Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, I don't know. I gotta go to Dubai, or whatever they call it." And then they say, "And I can't smoke no weed over there, so I don't even know if I want to go on the trip." And because I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then some people that go over there and then they end up breaking laws and getting weed. And if you get locked up and you think about some of those countries, what the penalties are, just think about that
For weed.
for weed.
Like you would do that to yourself for weed.
You would do that. So think about the level of dependency. And we often say, oh, I'm not dependent. No, it's not. We be faking.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what we're talking about here, but that's my spill with what you
Well, I
call
wanted to talk about that. I mean, Black folks, listen, be careful. I know we smoking weed. 420 is real prevalent in our community, but understand that anything they legalize, they have to mass produce. It's going to be chemically enhanced. They're going to be behavior
already
patterns.
chemically enhanced.
Yeah, there's going to be behavior patterns.
Keep it
It's going to be
100.
things.
It's
And
already chemically enhanced.
obesity.
Yeah.
I understand that obesity is going to go up. People smoking and eating. A lot of things going to move around. So I just want us to be mindful that capitalism is behind all of this. So it starts out with some type of oppression. Now, I ain't going to say it's white oppression, but I'm going to say it's oppression.
What's that?
I'm saying that what we think is good or, legal, and now we're privy to, is actually oppressive.
Yeah.
And you don't even know it because you enjoy it. But you might enjoy the eating cakes all the time, but it doesn't mean it's good for you.
You know what? Let me give you.
You know what I'm saying? You might enjoy sodas, and you can get a soda from anywhere, but that doesn't mean it's good for you. So the enjoyment factor is we're gonna have to be careful. So understand that everything in society starts in this level of oppression and capitalism in this
I'll
country.
be right back. Go
Where
ahead.
you going? Okay, go ahead. And so that's what we want to say. So Dr. Doc got up, so I'm gonna continue that. So we got to really kind of, because a lot of times we talk about stuff and we don't flip it. You know what I'm saying? So it's about that flip. So that's what we do at the DHC. We flip stuff. We analyze it. We dig in. So we going in. What's that?
So this is the book that we're actually
The
going
community
over.
itself.
Yeah,
Love
from
that.
Dr. Naeem Akbar, right?
Yeah.
So it's a book from one of our grand scholars, psychologist, Dr. Naeem Akbar. And this is a book that I've gone over many times in book discussions, book clubs, and we just began or restarted a book club here at TNET Holistic Wellness Center. Called TNET Book Club Collective. And I was looking at chapter 2. The book is powerful, by the way. Queen, please stop by.
Yeah, I'm going to stop by. Tell me about that book.
And one of the things that was just, stood out to me in this book, for chapter 2, is this. I'm going to read it for a little while. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah.
So Dr. Akbar, he says, it's in a section called "Listening to Your Inner Voice."
Okay.
And just to kind of contextualize that, he's saying that we are getting as far away from trying to listen to our inner voice. And let me just read it. He says, you will probably be amazed to find yourself rushing to turn your life over to something. And then he puts in parentheses, a cigarette, a joint, a drink, etc. Now keep in mind, this book was written in the first, probably was in like 1985, right? The revised version is 2006.
But that tells you the behavior never changes, bro. Same stuff. Go ahead.
It's getting more potent though.
You better know it.
You will probably be amazed to find yourself rushing to turn your life over to something like a cigarette, a joint, a drink, etc. Or someone, a lover, a parent, a charismatic leader, etc. Let that sink in. He says to run it for you. So he says to turn your life over to something or someone to run it for you.
Wow.
The shock. Now, I want you to just listen to this next part. The shocking discovery is that Erich Fromm, the famous psychoanalyst, was right. And human beings do, and he says, and human beings do try to escape from freedom. human beings, listen to this, human beings try to escape from freedom. And he's saying that the ability to listen to your inner voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're numbing yourself and turning your life over to someone or something, you're
Whoa.
trying to some degree, dull out the pain, dull out all this thing, dull out that voice. As you said, well, the dulling is the medication. No, that's the sedation. Hold up. That's a bar.
That's a bar.
That's
The medication, that's the sedation. That's a bar. But yeah, but
so,
that's listen. But that's where it is. So because it was just a weed, they put it around you, let you smell it, or you can eat it. Even when you eat it, it gives you this response. That is the medicinal part of it, is to give you that chill,
yeah.
to chill it down. That's it. To take you down.
But you don't want Grandpa Weed. Grandpa Weed could do that back in the day without taking you to a sedated a state that's so sedated that you don't even know what the hell's going on.
But that's what it is after generation to generation, we get more powerful.
The
And so
eyes are
now
like
they
this
get the
for real now. The eyes are literally like this now.
the chemicals are getting heavy. Yeah.
And the chemicals, let's look at this. Now, when we say chemicals, we often think that we're speaking about chemicals that someone's adding or some embalming fluid or whatever they call it, and all these type of things. It's not necessarily that. We're talking about manipulation. That's why I put the post out there.
I'm talking about seed manipulation.
Seed manipulation, crossing this and doing all that, but that's not organic once you start messing with it. I'm not saying it's all bad even when you talk about food and all these other things, but we act like the same ones who say, oh no, don't cross this seed with that seed and don't do this and cross fertilize and all that type of thing. We don't want
you got to mate the male with the female.
Don't do that. We ain't saying that about our weed though. Do that for my weed. That's what we saying. Yo, give me that THC level that's super duper high.
Listen, I'm in
create that.
To stop attacking my 420 people now. I get it.
Say it again.
But yeah, you listen, this is what we do. That's why I love this circle, is because we need to talk about this, because weed is prevalent. It's going to be more prevalent as we see states they turning over slowly but surely. Maryland, July, we're here. July, it will be legal. So we have to be very clear that this is going around the whole country. And this is going to affect Black people also. And so we need to, not only is it too available, how can something, just think, something that was, you could go to jail for, now is on every corner. It's like the church now. But that tells you how they switched the marketing, they switched the thought process, and they know how to mass produce it. Once they understand how to mass produce it, then it's beautiful. We can sell it. We find ways to sell it, find ways to define it, all of that.
They been knew how to mass produce it. I was looking at documentaries some years ago that said the weed was just growing up in places at one point before they made it illegal, and it was just growing, And so they wiped it out intentionally. But now, since they can control it, how about that?
Oh, when you can control it, it's back.
Yeah. So let's talk about control and money and all that type of thing,
and capitalism and oppression,
all that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, look, if you smoke weed and that's what you do, that's what's
do. Up. We say peace.
But what I'm saying is, look, don't fool yourself. You ain't fooling me. I'm sorry. You want to get high. Stop making like it's medicine and eating little Flintstone vitamins and stuff when it's not. If you want to use it for medicine, there has to be some level of titration or some level of you can't just be you gotta do it for when you're at work. You don't smell like, you don't look like you can function. You actually can function. That medicine is, some of us will complain about Benadryl. I don't take Benadryl. I ain't doing no none of this medicine the doctor prescribing me, but give me that. But the other piece is I'm not fooled because I'm a psychotherapist and I work with so many people. And I've been working with people for years who smoke weed and didn't realize they were self-medicating. And lots of us deal with lots of things. And we deal with trauma, we deal with anxiety, we deal with depression, we deal with manic states. But most people who are very anxious smoke weed.
Yeah.
They smoke a lot of
Because
Yeah,
weed too.
well, it can go both ways though. That's the problem too, because you don't know what you're buying. Look. I said I didn't smoke no weed. I know about it a little bit.
Zal, you know a little too much, a
So what I'm saying is I can't remember the
educational.
sativa and what's the other one and all that. But you don't know what you're getting, so you might actually have a up. Some weed takes you up, some weed takes you down. So if you're already anxious and you smoke the strand that's going to have you anxious, it might mess with you. It might not it might not calm you down. It might you might be hallucinating. You might just start doing crazy stuff. And it happens. I've talked to too many people that it's happened too. I have a
That's what I'm saying. That's why we're here. We have to shine a light on that. It's like no attack on 420, on my 420 folks, but with all due respect, is that this onset into the weed business that the governments, the municipalities, the cities, the banks, all of them are in is another system. Trust me.
But I have not
be careful.
But in addition to that, I have not met too many clients of mine who come into my office and they talk about how they smoke weed for their anxiety, and they realize they have to now smoke more and more and more of the weed.
Because your tolerance.
And they often say it's not doing it no more. It ain't doing it. It ain't doing it. It was like I thought I had a miracle drug, and and now it's just not doing it. I'm still anxious, and it's just not working for me. And in fact, I also know, because I deal with people, that most of the people, they really promote the weed, but on another hand, they don't want that shit control them as like it does, and they want to stop it, but possibly because there's so much of a difficulty to stop it, they start to convince themselves that they don't want to stop it, and they become but because I have these conversations, 1 week they're like, no, I don't want to smoke that stuff. I'm about to do fast. I'm about to eat. My doctor said me dying. I'm about to stop. Or I'm gonna drink water. I'm gonna be doing smoothies, and I'm gonna be doing that. And yes, I feel so good. I'm not smoking weed. I'm feeling so good. I'm not smoking. I have a clear mind. I feel so good. I have a clear brain. I can see. I can talk. I feel good. And then they have some stressful episode. The next thing you know, they smoke weed again. And now they got brain fog. They even sometimes become depressed, because lots of people are depressed, and you put weed on top of depression. Sometimes that don't work. You put weed on top of anxiety. Sometimes that don't work, especially if you don't know what you're smoking. And then so what I'm saying is I see the ups and downs of this thing, and I've been seeing it for years. So I'm
That's
not.
what I said. We have to tell people beware. That's our job.
Yeah.
Just be aware of what's coming and well, listen, they tried a lot of stuff. They had the K2, the synthetic version that they were selling just everywhere. The K2 and that was a sensation for a minute, especially with the young people, because kids can buy it at gas stations. So it's always a way of putting things in society so people can be, I think, addictive and
the good old business people.
Huh?
The good old business people, knowing how our community was buying that, and what these children was buying. No, they're just incense. No, it's not no incense. You know what it's for. And you got those little rolls, little vials, whatever you call them. I don't know how to say the word, but nonetheless, those little rolls. Can you help me? Is it vial?
Vial.
Yes, thank you. Can you spell it for me if I can?
VIAL.
Okay, a vial, whatever, vial. Okay, thank you. So so sometimes when you don't see words all the time, but anyway, so yeah, they know that those little rose valves, they're not there just to look cute, and you don't give a person this amount of this little small rose and they feel good about it. They know the rose get kicks out to the side and they put a little screen on and they smoke crack. They already know that. But they want to say alhamdulillah, BLaKCommunity, and all this other stuff. I'm not, pardon me, but what I'm saying is a lot of people are acting more holier than thou,
and they're not.
And they're not.
They're not.
They will never sell that stuff in their own communities.
That's
to their own children, to their own women. They will not do that, but they do that in our community. In fact, they actually support the drug dealers, and they actually are many times selling drugs from a different, maybe from a different level.
Yeah, they're safe havens for a lot of this activity. Unfortunately, that's and that's why it's so important that we got to look at this thing in totality. Like, not only are we consuming it, but folks in our community who sells it to us aren't us. So they really have no vested interest in our greatness. Be careful. So that's why we wanted to pull that 420 out to the Black folks. Be careful. Smoke, but watch yourself. That's all I'm saying. Watch yourself and watch your actions. Watch your family's actions, because it's about to get real shady and shifty. So we
I'm not
got
even
to
gonna
see.
say she gave you the edict to go out there and smoke. My suggestion would be honest with yourself. If you know you don't want to, but you can't stop, just say it to yourself. If you want to kick it, kick it. If you want to smoke, I mean, do your thing. But I do know it's a problem. It's an issue. I can't stop you. You know, just like we know drinking is an issue. Drinking is an issue. I don't care how illegal it is, but every time across the street somebody's shooting, I think the alcohol and the trauma mixed up in the society make bullets fly a little easier. You know, and then on the other side, when we talk about let's talk about some of the symptoms, the side effects of it, and how people feel less motivated. Let's talk about how people become a little less more numb to other people's experiences, because to some degree there's some research around weed, people who smoke weed having less of ability to empathize to some degree. Now these are just some studies
Yeah, I mean, a lot of studies is going to come out the behaviors we see, but I absolutely, I think it all makes sense. And we got to look at that. We definitely saw that 420 thing. I really wanted to talk about that. We just went through 420. If anybody doesn't know what that means, you know, that's day 420. That's a symbolized to the weed smokers. Real talk.
Okay.
So if you don't know, that's what we're talking about. So that warning, be careful. That's all I can say. Be careful or just stop. You know what I'm saying? Whatever floats your boat, but be careful. But we look at this society, it's going to be very hard to say people, oh, don't smoke weed or stop smoking weed. That's just like tell people don't drink, and it's everywhere. So this takes self-discipline.
But see, I didn't tell them not to, and I ain't tell them to do it. That's the difference.
Well, I don't. That'll work. Yeah. So you're going to stay neutral. Got it.
I'm going to stay neutral. Like, I'm not going to say, go smoke your weed, you know, just have fun and blah, blah. Because the reality, I know, like, if we Black people, you know, if I had to really be honest with you, I think it's us as Black people, and of course, it's not for everybody, but we self-medicate and put us in a comatose type of state to keep us in the condition that we find ourselves in this society. It helps us cope again better with the society when we run around sedated. So,
absolutely, trauma wants to be sedated, bro.
But I get it. But
yeah,
but I've talked to too many brothers and sisters who say that they feel lazy when they smoke weed. They're not functioning as well as they can when they smoke weed. You know, I mean, I've seen some people back in the day when we used to smell.
And some people say they're high functioning, so that's why we gave the warning. We gotta let folk do what they do. We gave the warning, bro. Some people think they're high functioning when they get high. Real talk. They think they got greater ideas. Things flow more.
They do, but they ain't got no job. But
stop it. Stop that nonsense.
No.
You're not getting us in trouble. 420, he apologize.
No, I'm being funny, but when I was younger, when I was in school, the dudes used to be in the class smoking that Bob Marley type of weed, and they'd be in there looking at all the math because they slow down so much. They see all the numbers, the decimals, and everything. They was like, damn, I need to get some of that weed because they real smart. They ain't got smart.
What is wrong with you?
You know.
So listen, that is excellent. I want to bring another point up to you so that we're done with 420. But listen, people have to make their own choices, but understand that this weed we in now, we in the mouth of the lion.
Would you say the same thing about crack and cocaine and heroin and alcohol and all these things too?
All of it. It's all present in our society, and you can and it's very easy
would
to.
Would you go out and say smoke crack?
No, I wouldn't go out to say any of it, but it's going to be people who smoke crack.
No. You said smoke. You said smoke. You said smoke your weed. But would you say smoke?
I didn't say smoke your. I said smoke your. Listen, there are going to be people that smoke crack. I advise.
No. That's not what we're talking about.
I
Would
advise
you
you
tell
not
them
to.
the same way, go smoke but be safe?
Listen,
No. Would you tell them go smoke crack and be safe?
nah, but weed is different. They're two different drugs.
Okay, so
They're two different drugs, and they affect you differently. And one's more readily available. One has
well, I would say go smoke. If you're gonna smoke,
one's
be
a
safe.
downer, one's a upper.
If you're gonna be smoke, no, but weed is both. So I mean, weed is both.
Yeah, you both of you never smoking. Listen, let's move on from weed.
Because okay, look, hold up.
We're moving
Hold
on
up.
from
I don't have to
420. I
smoke
got
weed.
something else for you.
The people who smoke weed tell me it's both. The research told me it's both. You know, I mean, like I
You
talk
and
to
this
people every
research.
day. No, I just told you, people who smoke weed tell me that they have is up and it's down.
I hear you.
And then people, the ones who telling the truth. then there's the. Let's move to the next subject. But
Let's
anyway,
move
I
to
do
the
want to
second.
cap it off. Like, if you're
Right.
going to smoke, whatever you smoke, if you're going to drink, if you're going to shoot up heroin, whatever you do, I know I can't stop it, but be safe.
Be safe. That's it. That's really what it is. So I ran across something. I think it was today or yesterday. It's a talk. A young lady did. Dion Joanna Weems, who's a marketer in Baltimore. I think she's a great lady, and she's talking about the excuses. She don't want to hear the three excuses when it comes to our community. And the first is the white man. The second is we're the parents. And the third is it starts at home. And she said those are three excuses that are null and void anymore. She don't want to hear those. Or she doesn't think that, she think they're excuses. And I agree that they are being used as excuses, but I think they're valid points too. And I think this is how I rebut it, that when we talk about the white man and the white man and all of that, I think that yes, we have to look past what they're doing and focus more on what we're doing. I think that, but we cannot make intentional harm an excuse and say that to just go ahead and move on. We have to be repaired. And until we're repaired, then it's active abuse still happening, then it's not an excuse. An excuse is something that I can see if you intentionally repair the way you intentionally harm, then now your excuse can't be the white man because you've been intentionally repaired. But you can't tell me that these actions that are still being applied to our community is an excuse. What do you think about that?
I understand both sides, and I agree with both sides. The problem is that both sides never really agree with each other. And I think to some level, what my sister is saying is that I think she wants to help us. I don't know. I don't know who she is, right?
Yeah, she does. She's that type of person. Yes.
But I think she's frustrated. And when we become frustrated, then and we want to see us do better, especially when we know we can do better.
Yeah.
Or at least we believe a person can do better. We talk about addictions now. I'm not going to talk about weed anymore, but just addictions in general.
Okay.
Often we don't want people to be on these drugs because we see sometimes how it's hindering them. And so what she is to some degree is saying that we are using the white man as a crutch to not do better. And
yes,
to some degree that can be true. But
that's what I've said.
At the same time, it's not just that easy. It's kind of like telling somebody to stop smoking weed, stop smoking crack, stop doing this and stop doing that, when it's just not that easy, as you articulated earlier. And when we have to understand another problem I think what happens is sometimes when we're these people who are very tenacious
and together
and resilient and
we think everybody else can do that.
We think that everybody else can do that.
Yes, and everybody can.
and everybody can't, and they think that well, I believe everybody can. No, the research will show you, Queen, that the numbers and the statistics will show you
That
that that's
everybody can't.
and it's not a downplay on people who just can't,
It's the
because
truth, though.
we just are different, and
We're different.
we have different experiences, we have
Exactly.
different biological makeups, we have we have different psychobiological makeups. So it's nothing.
Absolutely.
It's not to say I'm better. It's just you have some strengths in this area
Yep.
because of whatever your biology and your life experiences garnered.
Yep.
So what happens is when we feel like everybody can do what I do, and I think what
Absolutely.
happens is when you do
That's the
that,
arrogance of it. And
no,
it's not
not even-
malicious, but it's the arrogance of it that if
and
I can do it, you are able to do it. But America spews that.
but
If
even more
one
ignorance.
black person can do it, all of us can. It's not true.
But I think it's even more. Yeah, you're right. And I think more than that is even ignorance, because
Mm.
and not even to some degree understanding your own uniqueness. Because if you don't, because lots of times people who, like even myself included, like I never think like if you'll be like, well, you're this guy, that guy, and I don't see myself as this unique guy.
Yeah.
I don't see myself as this different person. Oh, I don't like, I just don't. So what happens is, because I don't, many times I have to check myself to know and appreciate myself for whatever my abilities are. But because if I don't do that, I will believe that everybody can do what I do, and I'll be a little tyrant.
That's it.
And the reality is not being cocky. It's just that I can't do everything everybody else can do either. So we all have strengths, abilities, and skill sets,
Yep.
and I just happen to have a skill set that can probably maneuver this oppressive society in ways that some others can't.
I get that. That is it. Is that I think we've been we've been playing the super people role for so long and been pushed into that role. Is marketing and their systems around that role. And we see as you say, the research states um that it's a thing. And so it's like everybody else can have issues, but black people can we can continue to survive because we have within the lion mouth. We've continued to survive, to scratch, to scrap, to go forward. And so I think to a point, this super people role is that we're always going to be okay, but not everyone is going to be okay, and not everyone has the ability to go through life and be okay and take the hits. So we have to be repaired first. It has to be, if it's intentional harm, you need intentional repair.
And let's flip that.
That's my goal. That's what I'm saying, huh?
Absolutely. And let's flip it a bit. The fact that when we get stuck in there, although I have all these, whatever we're doing, we think we've reached the pinnacle and everybody else can do it as well. When we think that way, that's also, it's not that you're so much greater. That's also a delusion, or you're deluded under the system of white supremacy and oppression. Or, I know you don't like white supremacy, but I'm talking about the ideology of white supremacy.
That's cool,
right? Yeah. And the thing is, because now I've become a victim, and I don't think I'm a victim, but I am, because now I'm beating up on my brothers and sisters, saying y'all need to do better, y'all need to stop this. Like Bill Cosby was doing it at some time. A lot of people do it because it's coming from a place, I think, a pure place though. But the problem is, I'm so frustrated. I want to see my people do better, and I just want to shake you and wring your neck.
And you think if you say these things, that's gonna be something that's a precipice to new behavior. It's not.
Yeah, and I think for us, and I think on the other end, if we don't see that that's what their intentions are, that then we become enemies against them, and they become enemies towards us. And
this is a black woman.
That's what I'm saying. Again, because she's black, okay, Sister Queen or Brother Dennis or Sarah Winkler, you two, you for whatever level of success you've had, and and now I can just tell people, look, you can do it too, and look at me, I'm being a new token, representative, and
Yeah.
I came from the bottom, then I'm on the top, and all these type of things. But the reality is, if I believe that, I start to become frustrated and resentful, and even maybe ashamed of my people.
Mm.
And what that is a trap in the system of oppression. That's a trap because it forms a mindset that you become resentful, you become frustrated, you become just tired of them, and you might not even want to be around them because they remind you of that they're not doing anything. So we just like, I throw my hands up. And then on the other end, or people, they might say all that stuff and still stay in the fold. They still out there like just saying, look, you do better. You got to do better. And they do what they call brutal truth and all that type of thing. And they really want people to do better.
But it's
But
abusive though.
and it's not the only way, right?
Right.
And then you might have stories, right? You might, and it could become very abusive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because now you might save a few, but really do you? Because the reality, even as Dr. Akbar was saying in his book, we begin to look for the charismatic leader. We look because a lot of our people. Oh my God, let me just read this a little bit more. Let me just read this.
Let's go. Let's read.
He says in the next paragraph, he says, though we are fully equipped and capable of conducting our lives freely, we have become so accustomed to giving our lives over to other influences that we do not realize we have the necessary equipment. We actually run from the opportunity to exercise influence over our own lives because so many outer influences compete for authority. Despite honestly expressed doubts about the misappropriateness of those authorities, people persist in giving themselves to them simply because of a habit and the carefully programmed appeal that they have for us. Experts in mind control, attitude manipulation, and motivational analysis who structure advertising campaigns specialize in inviting us to the controlled by the many outer influences available in our society. So let me just finish the paragraph. Of course, the potential profit which comes from having large numbers of slaves in the most obvious motive for inviting people into a voluntary surrender of their freedom. Of course, there is the power motive, sorry. Of course, there is the power motive, which is strong in some people who simply seek to control and exploit other people because it gives them pleasure. The idea of being popular and emulated serves as such a powerful appeal for some egos that even without material profit, they delight in manipulating people's desires. So, did you catch all that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's in. So I mean, I said a lot.
And you said this book, so it's amazing that what I'm hearing, people's behaviors and how we give ourselves to things. Like we get caught up in the things get us, but they're put in society to attract you, and then you until get addicted to it or whatever, and you need that thing. It becomes your transport vehicle. And however, if it's negative or positive, but you got to have it. And so, and amazing that this book was written in 1985. You said revised in 2000, but you see that the playbook never changes.
Absolutely.
In society and capitalism, because in all actuality, it continues to work because the systems are in place. They just have to add a new system onto the wheel. I talk about the white oppressancy. It's like you just added on more to the wheel. So really, this is nothing new. It's just another way to keep you in a space.
He's talking about technology in this book, but if you read it today, you would think he's talking about the internet.
And that's something he's talking about technology, but that tells you his mindset. It's like he had a forward-thinking mind. Like technology is a great thing, but
he's talking about the technology of that time. The technology has always been abused.
Wow.
Our children believe we don't understand because they feel like we were in the Stone Age and we didn't have technology. Technology before even when we were born was the newspapers. So
Mm.
the
They've
newspapers,
always used technology.
yes,
Dang.
they've always used technology to paint the picture and the narrative of us.
It was one time the radio when they didn't have television. The television
Right.
is a technological piece.
Always used
You
against us.
know, Malcolm talk about the TV. You know, it's all a piece of the system controlling or oppressing.
Mm-hmm,
Capitalism is the devil, but it has so many faces,
mm-hmm.
and so we have to be clear. We talked about the weed, and now we're talking about our mindset when it comes to racism and oppression and how it applies to our thinking that you can just pick yourself up and go at it. And some people are very good at that. We see black millionaires, black billionaires, because that to us is the level of success. I was
But
talking to someone the other day too, Dr. Di. I was like,
mhm,
listen, I'm not sure if being rich is success
yes,
because getting there, and because somebody was saying like, I should love Oprah, and Oprah is a good example for me, and all of this, and I'm like, I don't have any problems with Oprah, but I don't know about examples. But to me, for her to get to that space, and I have plenty of respect for her. This is not disrespectful or shade. You got to sell something. You're not getting to that level of success without not giving something of you. And I don't believe that you could take your whole black self to the table and someone accept it. So that's what I'm saying when it comes to white oppression. It's like we might be in the building and we look at Tyler Perry, and I'm not no shade on these people. Love them. Oprah and all of these people, LeBron, but I just feel that you got to sell your soul to get to some of these places. That's how I really feel.
well, even if they see the thing is, I'm not sure that I think that people quite believe they sold their soul.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that many times what happens is we become so optimistic because of our success that we don't really see how we struggle with really seeing that everybody can't do that again.
mm,
See, again, it doesn't matter how what your pay grade is. It doesn't have to be Oprah. It can just be Joe down the street who owns a business and believe that he started from the bottom. Now he's at the top again, and now
yeah.
he's like everybody can do it. Oprah is just a person on a higher level. She's no more relevant or irrelevant than any one of
Yeah,
these people
people know. It's the
that
story that
line.
people see and know. Yeah.
Yeah, she could literally at some point become just as revolutionary. If that's going to happen, maybe not. But there's people who, like for example, that you could say that reached those levels of success, even um, being the most wealthiest people in that black community, or even America, like Dick Gregory, and you could talk about people like what was it like City? What's the Bob that just died? You could talk about people like who just passed on
Cool.
not City Portier, but just different people who are
Cool. It's the level of success that they obtain in their life.
yeah.
It's
What's the
it's
brother who has the baritone voice and he can sing, he can act, he can do everything. He just passed away. What's his
you
name?
just passed away. Ooh.
I think he just passed away. I can't think of his name, but he could sing, he
Uh-huh.
acted, he did a lot of different things. His name is slipping me right now. But there have been people who have done great work for our people at levels that people don't even know about, you know,
Mhm.
and um and sometimes you will get there from being a little more quote unquote passive or what have you seemingly, but some people play the game as we started talking about to get to a place and then do things, because I mean I think what happens is if we're not careful with that, all of us can be accused of that, of, oh, Dr. Winkler, he's over at that school there, and and Sister Queen, she's doing this, and so because it's easy for us to point fingers at people who quote unquote seem to be in these positions, but
Yeah.
we can be as easy. It can be just as easy to point the fingers at us,
Ah.
and so and people do believe these things already.
Yeah.
They believe that somehow I went to school, so I sold my soul, and
Mm.
somehow I capped out, and somehow the white man has jumped in my brain, and now he's controlling every aspect of me, and now I'm going to put the white man inside of them and all that type of thing, do my psychotherapeutic practices, which this is not true. Now I can, but I will say that we're all to some degree not we all are adapting and trying to survive in the society the best way we can and assist one another. Because most people are not those manipulative people. Some people, we become blinded by our success, so we become tired. Like some people, we fight so hard we get burnt out, you know. Or so we're fighting for our people every day, and I'm broke. So I'm broke and I'm fighting for my people, and I see all these other people who are not broke, and even the people that say they fight with me, I turn around and look around, they all get in the bag, and I'm the only one out here still fighting for real, and I ain't got no bag. All these people, you know, so at some point they start saying, well, maybe this thing ain't real, you know, maybe it's very complex. I haven't said that today, but I will say it today. It's very it's a very complex reality, and that's what trauma is. White oppression is complex, not because white people are any more complex than black people. I'm talking about it's any form of oppression, and trauma in and itself has a very complex, because human beings are complex. Trauma does something to complex humans, hence it does something to complex groups of humans, which has us really doing a lot of these things that Dr. Naeem Akbar is speaking about in his book, and looking for those figures that were never there for us. So even when you hear people who smoke weed for the first time or any type of drug, what they'll say is, like a lot of time, if I've dealt with trauma in my life, it's always this missing piece inside of me. I felt the hole. I don't feel loved. I don't feel this. And when I smoked that, it made me feel. It felt like somebody hugged me. It felt like somebody hugged me, and I felt that thing right here.
Back to the weed. Didn't I tell you we moved on?
No, it's real though. We can't ignore. I didn't just say weed. I said weed or any type of drug.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is a reality we have to really deal with, that the trauma is so real. That's why we look for things outside of ourselves, including money, including all types of things,
sex, all type of things, food.
But there's something about drugs that intoxicate you, that make you feel loved, that helps you feel warm, that helps you feel something that is missing now is there.
That's that dopamine,
including weed. But that is a reality, though. I'm just telling you the truth.
Yeah, it's a reality. Okay. Well, I could get with that. And so, yeah, I really wanted to touch on that. I think a lot of times is we talk from the space of our own success. And then a lot of times we feel that area that translates to everyone, and it doesn't. Communities are communities because there are different people in every community. If there were just the same people, then it'd be a very monotone community. So that there's different people and different ways of approaching everything in every community. And so that's why I wanted to say something about that when I said, because I think the only way to say the white man's oppression or the white man, you have to intentionally repair.
So is there some truth to it, though? So
yeah, absolutely, I think there's some truth to it, but I also think that we cannot make it so simple. Like, I don't want to hear that in this excuse. It's not an excuse. It is actually causing harm right now. So that's not an excuse.
Because
that's
that
movement.
What I want to again do is for us not to turn on that sister or anybody else like that, because what happens is there's something called vicarious trauma. There's something called. So even though she may have not been traumatized, now she's out here helping people and she's trying her best, maybe giving her fortune and doing all that she can, and she's starting to feel really frustrated that we're not really willing to do the things that we say we're going to do. We're not following through what we say we're going to follow through on and all this type of thing. So what happens is you become tired, and hence what you become is traumatized vicariously. You have secondhand trauma to trying to help people who you feel are traumatized. So now you caught in the white traumatic, systematic, oppressive So now you're now the victim, quote unquote, of that, because you
Wow.
can't see that people are struggling. What happened is you lose your empathy that you once had.
Exactly. And because you now fall for the program, and the program is being said to you all the time, like that happened then, that there's no effects now, and that nothing is going on now, everybody's free. And so you tend now to become an agent for that message. And you hear it a lot. We hear it a lot that, every Black people's pain has been negated. Like, no, it's not true. Nobody living now were slave owners. Like, only thing that hurts us is slavery. Like, that's the only precipice to the hurt in the Black community is slavery. So if it's not actual slavery, then there's no harm being done. And so I wanted us to talk about that. One more thing, last thing, because we're out of here. We're an hour and 10 minutes. That's why I love you. But we're an hour and 10 minutes in, and
You
we
love
got.
me because of what?
I love you because when we talking, we just run through stuff. You throw that weed up there. You hit the 420 so hard today, so I gotta put you down because you hit for. So guys, go back and please listen to that 420 because we got to talk about that again. But I love that. But anyway, last thing. So we talked about the repair, right? But in California, the city council just passed 1.2 million for every Black resident. What you think about that?
What happened?
Reparations. They just passed. The city council just approved 1.2 million for each Black resident.
I'm not up on that, so I'm not sure what that means. Like, does that mean that they're all going to get it, or is that like this is a process towards something else? Because that's
I think it's a process, but I mean, I just the thought that I'm not saying particularly because it might be you get $5 and then you get a voucher for the 1.2 million at Macy's. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to structure it, but it was just in the city council. So I just wonder, what do you think that's even a conversation today? That they're even making that's a legislative process going on about repairing Africans, because we ain't American, we Africans. So
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
I appreciate it. I'm excited about it. It may be a process towards some things.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say it'll never happen. Some people say that we say all types of things. But if you and I understand some of their thoughts around that even.
Yeah, competition is, and I understand why they feel that way.
Yeah, so I see why people are kind of what's the word split in some degree on this thing. But what I will say is that we deserve something. And
absolutely.
And I know there's a fight about whether Black people can if we give them money, they're gonna just give it right back the next day and all these type of things. I'm not quite sure.
That's gonna happen.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry, say it again.
I said I think that's gonna happen.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what that looks like, and I'm not sure if I'm convinced totally that it's not going to be enough of us that can do something with it though, because I think what happens is not, see, when we look at quote unquote, this is coming off the dome, so I'm just thinking about it now. When we look at people who are in power in general, it's not the masses. So when you look at it, it only take a few of us to do something really significant with it. So
civil rights was a few people.
So yeah, so and so there's not even civil rights. I'm saying when you talk about the white masses, it's not like the white masses of people are the wealthy or those who have the control of the resources. It's only a few people who have control of the resources, and these are the people who actually control the society, and they control the capitalist, the economic, what is it called? The word, the economy. Thank you. The economy. And those who control the economy, control the resources, control lots of things going on inside. They're the ones with the power. It's not about starting a business. It's not about, becoming an NBA player. It's not about becoming all these things. What we really do need is resources. We need power. We need access. We need some a level of deconstructing these systems. And that, to me,
that needs resources.
That needs resources, and to me, that is a form of retribution. That we have, we have to find a way to deconstruct. And as Dr. King and others have said, we have to reallocate what's going on, the funds and the resources, and this, even more so, the resources in the society. You can have all the money and don't own the resources, and you still ain't got much of nothing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, because I think it's very vague. They're talking about it, but on top of that, I also think that when someone gives you money, you're going to spend it in the modality that you gave it. So people say, "Oh, they're just going to spend it back." Well, that's why they're giving you money, because you're going to spend it back. The question is, how do you spend it? How do you apply it? What are you going to use it for? Is it for the betterment of your community, your family? That's the question we got to get put in place. But you're going to spend it.
Yeah,
So,
I think. No, but I mean, I'm glad I'm having this conversation with you, because now I'm thinking like you helping me flesh this out a bit, and I think that reparations has to have something to do with reallocating resources if it's going to be truly.
And that's to be continual. It can't be 1.2 million one time.
No, I'm not even talking about money.
Yes, it has to be systematic changes, I think, in allocation of resources.
Yeah, because if you have money, you think you can buy something. You think you can go and buy the power grid, or you think you can go and buy just the airwaves. Like those are people who own that. They've been owning the airwaves. Their families have been passing it down for generations and generations. People who own the gold mines, and people who own the diamond mines, and people who own all these different the manufacturing. They're not going to just sell it to you. You know, like there was this whole thing about Bill Cosby not being able to buy and purchase NBC or something. So like
when he went for NBC, they came for that. They came for that tail.
So the reality is, even if they came for him or came not, people probably disagree on that. The reality is, you just because you got money don't mean that you can control these resources. And
but
the
you have access. Yeah, money doesn't mean access.
Yes.
Yeah.
It mean you can buy a car, yeah, you can get a yacht, you can buy a mansion, yeah, you can live good, you can splurge, but I'm not selling you my airways. You can come over here and control all this thing. And yes.
That's
so
we consumer.
And I haven't studied reparations enough to say what is good, what is bad, what should we have it. But I do think that true liberation coming through, we have to really, there has to be a reallocation of resources.
Well, I agree with that. I just wanted to talk about, because there's an actual number been put on for each resident. California is being California has done has a morbid history with Africans. So,
but they owe us money.
They owe us some damn money.
They owe us money.
They owe us a lot of money.
But true liberation is going to come through,
mindset.
Yeah, mindset, but also we need to do something with the resources.
Yeah, we got to come together and apply them.
No, I'm talking about this system, the government, the all the wealthy people who are typically white, who own the resource, those who own the quote unquote things they're not supposed to own, like river and lumber and machines and all these different things that they own.
Seed banks.
All this stuff that
you need to give it up.
Yeah, we need to do something about that, because you're not supposed to be that wealthy. You stole that.
You stole all of that, and so that's one thing I want to tell the people is, like, don't get too caught up in that monetary number, because really that's just for you to be a consumer. What we really need is real allocation, as you said, reallocation of resources, and some systematic change. And we have to control that, and not someone control what we do. So just be, even as this reparation thing is coming about, we got to be mindful of that. That's what we do at the DHC. We flip and we look at it from another level, from a Black centered level. And that's what I think reparations is, the conversation that we need. Absolutely, they owe us some damn money. Let's be clear. But money is not at all. We need systems, we need access, and we need resources. Am I right?
And they owe us some healing.
Healing, absolutely. Therapy. That should be a part of it.
You can't count on them to actually heal you when they destroyed you and all that type of thing. I think that's a complex conversation as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I mean, I remember I used to say, before we close it up, I remember I used to say things like, they're not going to give it to her. We got to, like, look, I'm saying at this point in my development, no, we can handle this from all angles.
Yep.
I used to say, don't march. No, some marching has done some things. We just can't be we just angry again. We frustrated again. We talk about how the sister saying things about everybody can just pull it up and just pull themselves up from the bootstraps. It's the same thing that we do. The revolutionaries, the Black Power movement, and the nationalists will say, all marching ain't do nothing but waste good shoe leather. I mean, Dr. Clark, my dear elder, said that. But what I'm saying is, lots of people repeat that, and I don't think that's necessarily true, completely true. I think that he has some, again, as the sister that you were speaking about earlier, there's some truth in it, but it's not
truth in it.
Yeah.
I respect her. There's some truth in it, and I know she's a good person. But I just think that sometimes we carry the water for the majority group by negating how yes, you might have made it and somebody else can. So Absolutely. Those are the points of it. So the DHC, this is DHC number 3. We handled 3 topics. We talked about 420 and its availability in July 1st in Baltimore in Maryland. Weed is now legal. A certain amount of weed, I think, is a gram that you can walk around with. And
what a gram of weed look like? I mean, like I don't know grams. You say you the physical scientist. So
that's a good way. You can get high off a gram. Sure.
I mean, what is a gram? Like, is a gram like a? It's not like a nickel. It's like a dime. What is like a cup? Like what is a gram of weed?
A gram of weed? No, I think that's like a gram would do 1 joint.
One joint. Okay.
Or 2 or 3 joints and 1 blunt.
One blunt. A gram can do it. You can get a blunt out of a gram.
Probably get a blunt out of a gram. Yeah, because what it is for you to have personal use, not for you to distribute. So it's not much, but it's not little. It's enough for you to get high. Huh?
So you can put the blunt in your ear and walk around.
Yeah, bro. They just want to make sure, or the joint. They just want to make sure you get high and stay high.
Small.
Yeah. So if you smoke a gram, then you go get another gram. You still gonna continue to get high. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then everybody make money off your continual high state.
Is it legal to sell it?
Huh?
Is it legal to sell it though?
No, it's never legal to sell it. In a dispensary with a license.
So when weed is legal here in Maryland, are the dispensaries now going to open up to the public?
You'll be able to get a card
without medical use.
I think you'll be able to get a card because personal use is legal. Okay. So I think you'll be able to get a card on a personal use, and that means you come and buy a gram.
But you can't get a gun.
Huh?
You can't get the card for the weed and the gun at the same time.
Oh, that's how it's going to be. All the cards are going to be in the same spot, motor vehicles.
No, what I'm saying is you can't get, if you have a weed card, you can't get a gun card. That's why people still buying from the streets.
Oh, okay, they're gonna figure that out. Trust me. If that's gonna stop their cash, they're gonna figure that out. But yeah, so DHC number 3, we talked about weed. We talked about the 3 no excuses, the 3 excuses that my sister Dion Joyner Weems talked about on her page. Powerful sister, respect to her. And then we just ended with the monetary number of reparation of repair. It's like someone's going to tell you how much they're going to give you to repair you. And the question is, what are you going to do with that? And is that really repair? So don't get caught up in numbers, because if all you're going to do is spend it back into the system, then you're going to be right back in 2 years or a year, you're going to be right back in a situation. So we got to look to be smarter if this reparation conversation continues. But
yeah, if I can add to that.
Go ahead.
Because we about to go. Caught up with the numbers. It's not about not just getting caught up with the numbers. That's fine. But the reality is, don't believe that's true reparation. Don't believe that is liberation. Don't believe that is enough to change. That is enough to, I mean, get money, but don't think that is enough to change the structure that we find ourselves in.
Nah,
you understand?
They won't.
And to say
and they know that they will not give you $1 if they thought that it's going to change some shit.
Yeah, I mean, it could, people can do some things, but it's not enough. Let's just say
it's not enough. Trust me, it's not enough. They make trillions, and they're gonna give you 1 million.
Money, but don't. But
yes, you're right.
But don't stop the fight, because we got the money.
That's it. That's right. That's right. So listen, Dr. Dye, is that your final? Is that your jewel? That's
Ain't that how
that's
you did? You said.
that's your jewel. Okay, well, listen, guys, we on again next month. Be watching for us. Listen, hit us up at blackboxradio.com. Check out our website. Gmail, blackboxradio@gmail. That's our email.
Uh-huh.
Please contact. Doc in the Box is coming back next month. I want to take this time to say,
Like, oh, she be messing up the like.
I said next month.
This is no like, share,
Oh,
subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.
subscribe, like, share, subscribe. Please do share. Listen, this digital healing circle is for us, and we got to blow it up because we need to have conversations that are Black centered, so we can look at things and with a lot of information. A lot of times we're looking at things with no information. We need a little information, so that's what we're here for. So we'll be back next month. And we want to take this time. I want to take this time to say happy Juneteenth is coming up. If you don't know what that is, June 19th, please do your research. Juneteenth is coming up. That's the freedom of Africans, the last free Africans in America. And Juneteenth, June 19th. This month, June is a busy month. Happy Pride to everyone. Happy Trans Pride in Baltimore. The first week. This week, this next week is actually Pride celebration in Baltimore. So enjoy that. Everyone be safe. Also, we have the AFRAM in Baltimore. You know, Baltimore is in the summer is the city of festivals. So AFRAM is coming up. That's the African American Festival. There's a lot of artists out here going to be here performing. Yeah, so free. Come bring your bag because it's going to be a lot of vending, a lot of food. Just celebrating Afro-American culture. So come through. That's at Jewel Hill Park. So there's a lot going on in the city next week. Juneteenth, Pride, and AFRAM. So it's going to be hot as fire up here.
Pride is still going on?
Pride and they're the same weekend.
I thought I saw Pride a few weeks ago.
That's Trans Pride. That's what I was saying.
They got a whole new one?
Oh, yeah. They done broke trends. Said we want our own joint.
Oh.
So they ain't playing. Oh yeah. It's these movements are moving. So trans now have created their own space. So that's what's happening. Baltimore is on fire. The country's on fire. Number one, this is the 6th month of the year, 2023. It's the warm. It's about to get warm. Listen, be safe. See us here next month. Digital Healing Circle. We up and out. We boxed up and out. Can we get some deuces? All right, guys, we gone. Deuces. Don't go nowhere, die. Stay there. Good night, Black Boxers.